Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. We are your hosts, Vidas Pinkevičius
and Aušra Pinkevičienė.
We've been mastering secrets of organ playing for more than 20 years and sharing them on this blog since 2011.
On this show, which we create from our home in Vilnius, Lithuania, we strive to help you grow in every area of organ playing, including practice, technique, repertoire, sight reading, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory, harmony, and many others.
Our hope is to help you become a complete musician, or what we call as Total Organist, a program which we have created to help you reach your dreams faster than you would do on your own.
If you are new here, we invite you to subscribe to receive free updates of this blog at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
And now let's go to the podcast for today. This question was sent by Reggie, and he writes, Hello sir, thank you for your question. In answer to number 1, I want to play the pipe organ at my church. In answer to number 2, I bought my first keyboard a month ago, so I'm still learning my first piece, Bach Preludio number 1. I practice every day, but I'm still internalizing the note and finger positioning. I had some musical training as a child and currently sing in the church choir. Thanks for asking. Reggie. So seems, Aušra, that Reggie is playing a C major prelude from Well-Tempered Clavier. Could be?
Could be, yes.
This is a wonderful piece. Of course, it has a lot of arpeggio figuration and even 5-part texture.
True, but it's not that hard.
Much easier than the fugue, which comes afterwards.
That's true. That fugue is one of the hardest, in my opinion.
Do you know why Bach chose to write the opening prelude such an easy piece and then right away the following fugue very, very hard? What's your hypothesis?
Well, didn't want to scare people for his new collection. I don't know. That's just a joke. But actually, if you look through Well-Tempered Clavier, you can find actually various preludes. This one is not as hard, but for example, C minor, which is the second one, has very fast tempo and toccata-like motion. So.
But also that C minor has one figuration extended throughout the prelude, like C major too.
Well, that's usually the case with most of the preludes.
And the fugue here in C major has 4 parts and is very complex because it's a scholastic fugue.
It is. It has that stretto at the end of it, which makes things even harder.
Basically, in every measure you will find a subject of the fugue.
True. That's true.
Maybe Bach wrote such a difficult fugue at the beginning because he was proud of it, right? And he wanted to be as a model for an entire cycle.
It could be. And if we will think about, the role of a prelude was, sort of your introduction to fugue. You had to warm up to set up the key.
And it wouldn't make sense if the prelude would be even harder than the fugue.
True, because usually it doesn't use the polyphonic texture.
With some exceptions, of course.
Yes, true. There are always exceptions to everything.
So Reggie is struggling with internalizing the note and finger positioning. which means that basically he wants to play without mistakes.
True. And I thought about, if picking up a repertoire as a beginner is a good way to learn. And I realized that of course you have to play some repertoire, but definitely you need to work on the technical exercises.
Such as?
For example, Gannon, yes. And scales, arpeggios, chords.
Maybe two-part inventions by Bach.
True.
If Reggie likes Bach's music.
True. I think the two-part inventions are probably the best way to get acquainted with Bach. Well-tempered is clavier is too hard.
Sometimes I like to sight read music, and whenever I don't have much time, I open two-part inventions and play a piece or two. It just takes a couple of minutes. What's your favorite way of sight reading, Gosha?
Never thought about it. What do you mean, particular collection or particular composer or what?
Maybe let's start with collection, yeah?
Well, I like to sight read, Bach, of course. Inventions, but also his suites, French, English, his partitas.
I bet they would sound wonderful on our piano at home.
True.
Half step lower.
True.
I see. Do you have some suggestions for Reggie how to increase finger positioning? Which is probably the way of playing entire passage in one position. Can he transpose a passage and go up and down as an exercise?
Yes, that could be an exercise, but for this particular prelude, I would suggest for him to play it in chords first. Don't do that arpeggiated motion, but to play the full chords. To find out what the harmony is
and how
about it.
And how many parts there are, right?
True. And later on, this will, help him to play in the right fingering and to play everything smoothly.
Recently, I asked at school my kids to find out how many voices are there in this prelude, and nobody could guess that it's a 5-part texture. Somebody said 4, somebody said 3, because there are 2 voices clearly in the left hand part and a passage, arpeggiated passage in the right hand part, right? But they didn't think that those 3 notes in the right hand part are like 3 separate voices.
True.
So 3 plus 2 would be 5-part texture. Excellent. And Reggie wrote that he had some musical training as a child and also sings now in the church choir. Do you think that helps?
Yes, of course. Any kind of, musicianship helps. Singing in the choir too, it develops your pitch.
And you get to know what music director is doing, and sometimes you can observe how they conduct, and even if he becomes better at playing from sheet music and sight reading, he can sometimes accompany the choir or even play in the church service.
Yes, and it's too bad that Reggie didn't tell how old is he now, because we don't know how many years he haven't practiced since, his childhood. So it's very hard to say, what to do next.
True.
What would you suggest if he would be a senior person?
Like over 65?
Yes.
That's a nice age to take up some hobby like organ playing and start practicing more seriously, because when people have more time after working years, they have sometimes less motivation to do that, right? Because it seems like they are old and everything is behind them, and they cannot improve, which is of course a total myth, and we have so many senior people to prove otherwise, that they constantly improving every day. So if he is over 65, I recommend, of course, to schedule some regular organ practices, or at home on piano or keyboard, or go to church if he sings in the choir. Ask musical director to let him do this once in a while. In exchange, he can volunteer sometimes playing for church services, a hymn or two once in a while, if he feels comfortable. Right. Of course, don't forget improvising. Maybe it's a good way to warm up, to get to know your keyboard. Things like that I do all the time. It helps for me, and I hope will help other senior people.
That's a very good suggestions.
What about if he is just, he is obviously not a teenager, but let's say if he is like our age, what would you suggest for him?
Well, he could still apply to a music school, maybe,
Right.
to take a couple courses.
Or he could prepare for AGO, a service playing certificate exam. That would be a great motivation to improve over a course of 6 months or 1 year.
That's true. That's a very good suggestion.
Okay, thank you guys. This was Vidas.
And Usha?
Please send us more of your questions. We love helping you grow. And remember, when you practice,
Miracles happen.
This blog is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online, where you will find courses for every area of organ playing, including technique, practice, sight reading, repertoire playing, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory, and harmony, with hundreds of scores and thousands of exercises. Here is what some of the students are saying.
Hugh writes, the sight reading course has helped me tremendously. Thank you very much for your essays, courses, and all your help.
Robert writes, I found the fingerings, registration ideas, and general comments to be excellent.
John writes, I have found your download very helpful. It was really excellent. I have watched some of your teaching videos, and when I read your instructions, I tried to imagine you are there teaching me. You may feel disappointed that I am 2-3 days behind, but I am a slow learner, and I have committed to taking the time to get it right, as you say. But the other night my wife commented that she had never heard me play such a detailed melody in the left hand so well. My left hand is generally poor.
Frank writes, I just got through learning your practice score of Benedicamus from Tabulatura Nova by Scheidt. I used your practice schedule, and it is an excellent approach to learning any composition. I like all the performance practice information you include in this score.
Robert writes, it has been a great pleasure in my life of having discovered your courses and material, as well as the YouTube work of recordings. You have a calm and pleasant way of teaching.
Judith writes, I have just learned that I passed the CAGO exam and am now a colleague of the American Guild of Organists. I have had excellent coaches, lessons, and mentoring here in the United States, and an outstanding teacher. But I also want to thank you for your assistance in answering my questions and in providing some excellent practice exercises and video explanations which reinforced my US training. I want to continue to improve my skills and will be participating in your courses and exercises and following your video demonstrations.
Ron writes, Hi Vidas and Usha, thank you guys. What a wonderful response to my email note to you. You've got me right, and I feel you understand my level of playing. Yes, at home, and luckily that I have an organ for that reason. I am paying attention to this, and I am going to try this haha no longer secret model. Yes, and I love Cesar Frank too. What is very nice about your blog podcast is that Usha and Vidas are like a Socratic dialogue, and by bouncing things off of each other, so much more information comes out and is expressed. Your comments contain a wealth of information and understanding. I really appreciate this. It is very inspiring and will keep us moving forward.
Thank you so much, guys, for this wonderful feedback. We appreciate your notes. Please send us more of your questions. We love helping you grow. And to become a member of Total Organist and start supporting this blog, go to organduo.lt/total-organist.
Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to receive free updates of this blog, make sure you do that at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video, how to master any organ composition, and 10-day organ playing mini course.
This was Vidas.
And Usha from Secrets of Organ Playing.
And remember, when you practice,
Miracles happen.